Today, on the 13th of May, I find myself at the George and Ada Reffitt Nature Preserve in Traverse City, Michigan. This is a great preserve. There's so much to see here. It's a quick little walk if you want to be. One of the sections is currently closed for restoration efforts. I think there's some high water level challenges that have made some of those spots impassable or not safe to traverse. But anyway, I'm out here today. Of course, I have a camera, but more or less I'm out here today to just show you around and take you on a quick virtual tour of one of my favorite hikes in Traverse City. This preserve, managed by the Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy, boasts some really neat geological features that I think are worth mentioning. Number one, it's a dune and swale complex area. It's near the lakeshore. It's part of the Mitchell Creek watershed. And on top of that, there's some really neat hardwoods here. There's some beautiful pine tree stands of white pine. There's red pine, jack pine. There's some willow species and dogwood, I believe, over in one of the closed areas. And to boast, there's also great opportunities here for bird watching, which is the reason I brought this big Panasonic with me. I might have some pictures to put up at the end of this video, but let's get started. Alright, so this is the beginning of the trail. It's mostly flat, which is nice if you don't have the capacity or the lungs to go up lots of hills. It's a nice quick little jaunt, and as you can already notice, the pine tree stands and the undergrowth and the under canopy. There's also some blueberry bushes. There's some wintergreen little shrubby things down there, if that's the technical term, shrubbies. Not quite familiar with the exact way to label those, but they're there. There's those little leaves you can chew on. They taste like mint. Super delicious. But this is kind of what you get when you get here. Super nice, really pretty at all seasons. And once you know it, there's some blueberries right here that are starting to mature. That's really pretty, actually. I might take a picture of that. There's gonna be some blueberries here soon. Part of any forest ecosystem has to be the canopy, or the area where the tops of the trees are located closest to the sky. And in this case, when I'm looking up, I can see there's maples, I see white pine, maples, primarily white pine and maples in this area. Yeah, there's some pretty maple leaves coming out right there. I'm gonna get a shot of those too, I think. One thing that I want to make sure to point out about this preserve is that there are quite a few white-tailed deer that frequent the spot. So if you do come here, be cognizant that you might want to stay on the trail, which you should be anyway. But even if you do, sometimes ticks can still get you if you rub up against a tree branch or something. Those are little scampy rascals. Just make sure that you are aware of that when you come out here. After a couple minutes of walking, you'll find yourself out in this little opening. And to the right, you'll see part of the TART trail system next to the road. And the railroad tracks there, some hotels. You'll walk towards marker post number 2. And here you see a bit of a change in the ecology of this preserve. You start to see more red pines than white pines. You also see seasonal wetlands or vernal pools. Lots of spring peepers come over here and perform their spring rituals. Right next to me here is a squirrel hole, probably excavated by woodpeckers at one point. This one tree alone shows how important each tree is in a forest ecosystem. Each year I see a different squirrel here, and it's just a testament to the importance and the functionality of each species and how they help each other out survive the seasons. I mean, in the winter, could you imagine the benefit of having this big tree to have your home in instead of a bunch of leaves on a precarious branch? Okay, so now we're entering a different ecological area of the preserve. Here, you actually find some white cedars, which right here, I believe those are white cedars, which indicate a more hydric soil, or more of a wetland soil, rather. And you can see how much different the terrain is, and there's actually a chipmunk down there somewhere, a little scamp. And I might try to get a shot of him. I am now at marker post number 3, and again, this is a quick walk. This is like 2 or 3 minutes, even with rambling on about this place. That way is another one of my favorite areas where there may or may not still be a seasonal vernal pool, wetland type area to go take a look at. And in most years, there's a pair of mating mallard ducks that head out there. Also wanted to point out this red pine that I'm sort of tracing the outline of in front of the lens. Notice the bark is different from the white pines, of course. It's more scaly and flaky as they mature. And of course, notice the excavations on the main trunk heading up to about midway on the tree. After about midway, they stop. And this just again shows the importance of each tree species on the preserve and its impact on its ability to support species. This preserve is also home to some salamanders, believe it or not. I believe I just had one in here somewhere. I think they are called the red striped or red backed salamanders. Where did it go? A little scamper, he went away. But anyway, this just goes to show you the importance of decaying plant matter on the forest floor. It provides a perfect home for these salamanders. And of course now it has totally disappeared. And here's another note. If you do ever end up picking up one of those little guys, please make sure that you have no DEET or chemicals on your hands, because their skin is very sensitive to these things and can end up killing them. Okay, here it is. I don't know if you can see that or not. I might get a picture of it if I can. There's that little guy right there, a little redback salamander. They are all over this northern Michigan region. And of course, when you're done with them, please put them back where you found them, as to not further disrupt the environment. You need to respect the wildlife. Behind me, and a little bit to my left, is part of the vernal pool that still is remaining from this early spring's winter thaw, where the snow melts and provides pools for fairy shrimp, of course, and other creatures like ducks and frogs and even mosquitoes, unfortunately. But at this time, it looks like it's mostly dried up. Past that vernal pool area, we start to get back into the higher elevations of this part of the preserve. You can notice that we're starting to get back into the white pines and the maples, and we're leaving behind the white cedars and the other wetland specific plant species. Pretty neat how that works. Just a little bit of elevation change can make a big difference to what you see on the topography of any given area. I also want to point out these little oak leaves. So there's even oaks out here. Not quite as many though. This one's actually quite interesting. I love how red those leaves are. I might get a picture of those too before I finish this video up. Yeah, there's oaks here, but I don't think they do quite as well as the other species. And just like that, I'm back in the parking lot. Pretty quick little walk. Good spot to take a dog if you're doing a bunch of stuff in town too. Okie doke. I think I'm gonna end the video there. Thanks so much for watching. And if you haven't noticed, this video is in color. I'm gonna be doing this as a special little touch for those times where I do these virtual tours, if you will, of some of my favorite areas to visit in the northern Michigan region. Before I go, I want to take a moment to thank my new subscribers and my longtime subscribers of the channel. Thank you so much for your subscription and your time. I always appreciate it. Anyway, on that note, thanks so much for watching again. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video and others with your friends and family. And of course, until next time, get outside and get some fresh air.
Curiosity killed Mercury. You're becoming a curious one. Progress is looking an awful lot like entropy. Here in my 24th blue brown sun.